Hi friends, and welcome back. How has your week been? I'm telling you, I have been crazy busy this week. I don't know where the time has gone. But because of that, I have several things that I actually want to share with you today, and that's what today's video is going to be about. So to begin with, I actually met up with Linda on Monday. We have not seen each other for a couple of weeks, and so we decided to meet up and have a little play date. And she brought me a couple of her candles to try. Now, she is selling those in her online store. I've shared with you many times my love of candles. I've even shared my candle cupboard with you, which is a little embarrassing at times. And one of my all-time favorite scents is vanilla. She does have a vanilla, it's Vanilla Pantry. I love it, but I knew I was going to love it. The other one that she has is called Tavern Mornings, and this one I was quite interested in because she kept telling me about the coffee scent, how she loves the coffee scent of it. And to be totally honest with you, I typically do not gravitate towards a coffee candle because they're pretty strong as a whole, and I don't care to walk into a room and just have it smell like coffee. This is very different. I love this candle and I will be purchasing it from her, and I am not exaggerating. I actually have it burning next to me here right now, and it's very fitting for the next thing I'm going to share with you. But the throw on it is the cold throw comes across as coffee. So I get what she was saying. However, when you burn it, it's a very mild, in my opinion, it's a very mild coffee scent, and it has a sweetness to it. So it almost has, I don't want to say bakery, it's hard to describe. It's a very comforting scent, and I'm loving it. I was a little surprised, but I am loving it, and I will be repurchasing. So if you're interested, go visit her store at New England Fine Living. This is not a paid sponsorship. I'm merely sharing with you what I'm loving. But it's very fitting because, and I know, I am probably the last one to the party. What else is new? But I had seen this on Instagram. It intrigued me because they kept referring to the Gilmore Girls. I've shared with you before how my daughters and I absolutely love the show. We've watched it so many times, it's not even funny. And it's called the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Now, the cover itself reeks coziness. It's adorable. And the author's name is Lori Gilmore. I believe that's her pen name, but very fitting to the Gilmore Girls. So I took this with me on Wednesday. I went down to Boston. I'm going to share that with you too. Because I took the bus down to Boston that day, it took me right to South Station, which was like a 5-minute walk to where I was going. And so I thought a perfect time to take the book and start it. It immediately drew me in. It's definitely what I would call a cozy read. And the very beginning, it has an illustration of the town, which I'm telling you reeks Stars Hollow. However, I wanted to share this little passage with you. And if you are a Gilmore Girls fan, tell me it doesn't sound like that. The cafe was flanked by the Bluebell Bookstore and Sullivan's Pub. Annie's Bakery sat on the other side of the bookstore. Add in a few other shops and restaurants, the pet store, and the post office, and that was Main Street. It was frankly adorable. Autumnal, small-town New England at its best. Shouldn't she feel different here, away from the frenetic energy of Boston, the traffic and the crowds? Shouldn't she be different here? I mean, that sounds like Lorelai and the Gilmore Girls living in Stars Hollow. I don't know. It continues on. Whether she meant for it to be similar to the show, I don't know, but it is definitely a cozy read. I highly recommend The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. So let me know if you've read it. I'm sure many of you have. And I believe it was first published in 2023. However, this is the first year I've heard about it. I would like to know if you have read any of her other books. That's what I would be interested in. And if you liked them. If so, please comment below and let me know which of the titles you liked. I think she has a Christmas one also. So as I was saying, I went down to Boston on Wednesday. I met up with two of my daughters and my two little grandsons. And we went to the Boston Children's Museum. I'd never been. Now, I have been to the south end of Boston before. It's been many years ago. But I don't typically spend a lot of time down there. And I was pleasantly surprised. It was a little more quiet than around, say, Boston Common, Newbury Street, that area. But it was really nice. We went to the museum. Now, keep in mind, Theodore will be 2 in November, and little Henry, he's just a little over 4 months old, so he's happy if you just talk to him. But Theodore loved it. It was 3 different floors, and we went specifically because they had a Winnie the Pooh room or exhibit that Caitlin was interested in. And I did take some footage because I felt it was worth it to share with you. It's a really neat place. It is what I would call a hands-on museum, so geared more towards smaller children. If you are in Boston or around the area, it's a great place to take kids just to let them run around and explore. It was funny though, they also had an Arthur room. Now, do you remember the book and the television series Arthur? My children grew up with it, and Caitlin and Samantha were so excited. I thought they were like children again themselves. They were so excited to see that. It's just a fun place, and I thought it was worth sharing. But then on my way walking to the museum just across the water was the Boston Tea Party Museum. I had never been there, and there is Abigail's Tea Room. You can pay to do a little tour. I didn't have time. I had to catch my bus to come home, but I did stop in, take a look around the store, and I did have some tea. And it's a very casual setting. It's not you sit down and have tea. They had an option to test the 5 different teas that were actually thrown overboard for the Boston Tea Party. So of course I wanted to try that. And I was intrigued. There were 2 or 3 green teas. I typically don't care for a green tea. And then of course they had the black teas. Now the green tea was my favorite. I couldn't believe it, but all of them were such a smooth and mild tea. They were delicious. The last one had a bit of a smoky taste to it, so it was interesting. But I would highly recommend it. Now they actually have a little tour you can do which includes going on the replica of the ships that were there. This is on the original body of water where the Boston Tea Party happened. However, it is not the exact location. And the reason is because that wharf no longer exists. Due to the 19th century landfill project they had in Boston. I'm going to link an article on that below the video because it's very interesting to read and amazing to think about when you're walking around the Seaport District or Back Bay or different parts of Boston that once were water. So I'm going to link that below to go ahead and read. I would definitely recommend this museum, and I'm going to share that with you today. So that's a little intro of what I have had going this week. I am working right now on uploading the gift sets that I have been promising you for a couple of months now. I haven't had a ton of time to do my thrift shopping, but I have purchased some things and I've put some sets together for you. So if you're interested, go ahead and take a look at that. And right now I'm going to go, I have a couple more autumn things to add to my fall or autumn department. So Anyway, I thought I would just share that with you. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was a beautiful day in Boston. And I am going to show you too, our bus stopped in Londonderry, New Hampshire, and a man dressed up as a Minuteman or Paul Revere, whatever you want to consider him. He got on the bus and I just smiled. I thought, oh, welcome to New England, Carla. This is what life is here. I guess it was Constitution Day, I think I overheard him say. And so he was going down for some form of an event. And so it just makes it more fun. It's nothing to be walking around Boston to see Paul Revere walking the streets. You just never know. So it was fun. But let me go ahead and let's get to the video so I can share with you my day down in Boston. Let's get started.